Hello, everybody. Welcome to the NobCast. We are back. Gaskey's feeling better. This man was ill. Before we even start, Gaskey, how are you feeling? What was wrong with you? Were you near death? Was it a bowel issue? What was going on with your illness?
I do feel death was close. Death was near. It was some kind of a flu / cold / whatever wanted to be thrown at me. I was bedridden for 3 days. I dragged myself out of bed to get back to work, because that's what I do.
You're a trooper.
Yeah, still kind of got a bit of a cough, but not as bad as I was. The amount of phlegm that came out of my body, you could have made a new me of that phlegm.
A phlegmy Gaskey.
But we're back. We're back.
We're out here.
Recovery. People, must have thought, where's the NobCast? But it is back.
Exactly, we're back because Gaskey's all good. Obviously, couldn't do this without him. Please, guys, send your best wishes to Gaskey. 1 like equals 1 love. I don't know. Anyway, football has taken place. I mean, lots of football has taken place. City were out of the title race, and now they are well and truly back in it after beating Arsenal 3-1. So that's literally just happened, like like an hour ago or something. So we'll obviously be talking about that at length. We'll be talking about Everton. And then your manager, Sean Dyche, beating Arsenal. And then the Merseyside derby. Are Everton up for survival or not? Speaking of new managers, there's a manager fiasco going on at Leeds and Southampton. We'll be having a chat about that. We'll briefly be touching on the whole VAR controversy situation, but that has been done to death recently. So we'll only be touching on that slightly, but it is so terrible. It does need talking about. Manchester United, not necessarily on the pitch, but off the pitch. What is going on there? More importantly, I want Gaskey's thoughts on the potential owners when we get to that section, and then we'll also be having a little chat about Chelsea, who a little bit of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde about them. One minute they look world class, the next second they look clueless. Of course, the classic mini games of Guess the Footballer in 60 seconds. Nothing has ground Gaskey's gears this week. He's simply been too ill to have his gears ground.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it'll be fine. We'll obviously be taking questions from our viewers in NobGas. Looking ahead to next week's matches. And of course, BallBusters. And revealing the winner of BallBusters and also the answers for next week. But Gaskey, of course, is one place to start and one place only. And that's the game that we've just watched. Arsenal 1, Manchester City 3. Now, we are going... the way I'd like to structure this is I'd just like to talk about the game overall. We'll then talk about the individual goals, and then we'll touch on whose title is it to win now. Have Arsenal bottled it? Can City reclaim their title? But Gaskey, let's start by just talking about the match overall. Give me your thoughts on it, because it was a very... speaking of Jekyll and Hyde, with the Chelsea, it was a very weird... first half of performance by City compared to the second half. Much improved by City in the second half, but first half Arsenal were all over them, weren't they?
Yeah, the game in the first half just felt it was very, let's just play safe. Let's just both teams were a bit be a bit cagey. The Arsenal started coming at them. City couldn't deal with it, and then let's be fair, they were gifted a 1-0 lead. Pretty much. I mean, it was a great finish from De Bruyne, but it was pretty much a gift. Went in 1-1, and you felt that there was more to City there. They can come. There's a different gear, which we eventually saw. As the second half went on, you just felt they're going to win it here. Another error, and they're behind. So really, Arsenal were their own worst enemy in that game. Could have easily been a draw. They could have easily won it, but errors seem to cost them.
Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts on the whole Bernardo Silva being sort of played at left back, sometimes centre back, sometimes midfield situation? It worked to great effect against Aston Villa, but that's against Aston Villa at home, and City were away against Arsenal, the best team in the league, up against Saka of all players. Bernardo basically being tasked with him for the whole game. He eventually got yellow card in the first half, fouled him about 4 times. Yeah. It's suicidal, question mark?
It was a very crazy thing to do, thinking, why would you play him there against arguably the best winger in the league at the moment? So it clearly didn't work, but I was very surprised Arsenal didn't target as much as they did. Because as soon as he was on a yellow card, you felt, right, Saka's just going to have him on on toast here. He's going to go. I had flashbacks from the United game when Shaw couldn't handle it. Was it like last year? Then Shaw couldn't handle him, and they couldn't deal with him. And I felt like this situation can happen again. They're just going to keep going that wing, and they won't be able to deal with it. But they didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't do that enough.
Yeah, definitely, and especially when you've got Ake, who did a very good job at clamping down Saka in the FA Cup game. Basically, I know the term pocketed is used very loosely, but I think that was a very apt definition of what he did do. So yeah, a bit surprising Ake didn't start normally at left back, but City, got away with it, ? And then the substitutions happened. Bernardo went over to the right wing, so it wasn't too much of an issue anyway. And then Akanji came on, so it was Ake who dealt with Saka. Anyway, and yeah, it was just I thought the first half City were terrible, to be honest. I don't know what you thought, Gaskey. I thought that it backed off Arsenal a little bit too much. Maybe I don't know. Maybe show them too much respect. Allowed. I know Arsenal played very well through City's press, but it was almost like, I think Guardiola even alluded to it, City weren't nearly as aggressive as they normally are. And in the second half, we saw that in addition to Bernardo eventually going from left back to right wing, we did see that City were much more aggressive in their pressing and not allowing Arsenal to play their game. So yeah, first half really bad, but second half I thought City were really good. Let's talk about the goals now. Because let's be honest, Gaskey, it was basically 4 goals and 4 errors. Do you think that's fair in saying? Let's take them goal by goal, starting with the Kevin one. Talk about that one to me.
The first goal was a prime example of a team being on top and then just how to punish with a small error. It was a little error. Most players don't have a right to score from there. Let's not take the finish away from De Bruyne because it's an amazing, cracking finish. Weak foot as well. Yeah, still got a lot to do. The keeper's still in front of him, and he's got to get past him at a difficult angle. But Arsenal I felt they were comfortable. They're going to go 1-0 up. You can see a goals coming, as you see in most games for Arsenal this season. But just an error, a simple pass, and he's messed it up, and then De Bruyne has finished off, and it puts the 1-0 down, and you think then, is this where City now going to come out the blocks? Mm-hmm. And it didn't really happen after that goal.
Yeah, definitely. But the goal did come. I know it came from an error, but it also came from City being direct, pumping it up to Haaland. I don't even know if Haaland won the flick on or if Saliba flicked it over, but then Grealish pressures Tomiyasu, and Tomiyasu makes a big mistake, but it comes from playing direct and playing that pressing game, and he touched on it. It is a fantastic finish by De Bruyne on his weak foot, and he lobs Ramsdale, and it's lovely. Arsenal equaliser is a penalty. There's been a lot of debate about whether it was or wasn't a penalty. For me, it was a definite penalty.
Yeah.
Not a second yellow card.
Yeah. I mean, people were saying, he's the guy. I think a lot of the arguments were he's had his shot and he's come out to block it, and the shot's happened. It doesn't matter. He's come out and he's gone through the man. Just because he's shot doesn't change anything. So at the end of the day, he's come out. Ederson didn't even need to take him out. He could have slowed down and he could have stopped. He stopped and closed the gap. But again, he's gone through him.
That's why it's so frustrating, because
it's a frustrating error, because it could have been easily been. It's not one like, we need to go and try and win that ball. It easily be avoided.
Yeah, the angle is tight on Nketiah. If Ederson just stays at home, Nketiah's got a lot of work to do to try to get a good shot on goal. But he comes out, commits the foul. Sadly, it's a really good goal line clearance by Ake, but it's irrelelevant. So you're happy it's a penalty, but not a second yellow.
I have no arguments really. Yeah, but it's not much more really, is it? He's come out to close the gap down, and he's clearly, it looks like he's ran too fast, and he can't slow down, and he's took the man out. So it's not much more you can say to that really.
Totally agree. Yeah, Arsenal in the ascendancy went into half time. Second half, I've touched on it. I thought City were more aggressive generally, so it meant that Arsenal struggled more, and I did think, even leading up to the goal, I thought City just edged it in the second half. But what turns out to be the winning goal, Gaskey, comes from, even before then, actually, Gabriel is very fortunate in that he nearly gives away a penalty on Haaland. In fact, a penalty was awarded. It was just because he was slightly offside, Haaland. That was a warning sign that Gabriel is. We've spoken about this on the podcast before.
We've said plenty of times, though. I mean, to be fair, I think you said from minute one, Gabriel, you cannot win the league with a player like Gabriel at defence.
Mm-hmm. But sadly, I said that, and then Arsenal have gone this mad run, and now they might actually win it.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't point one error and be like, "This is C, I'm right." But you know, you can tell that he's a bit of a liability. There is errors in him because he almost gave a penalty away and then he gave the ball away. Yeah,
exactly. Under no real pressure, he just passes it to, and it's a lovely move by City, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not just like he plays it into his own centre, his own third, which is also like play it down the line or play it out. You know, you got your back to goal. You know, you got your front to goal. You're like, right, okay, where do I put this? Not there. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's cracking football from that position. You're in that position. You still got to get past 3 defenders, and they work it out really well, and it's a great finish.
Mm-hmm. By Super Jack Grealish. I was so happy when that went in because I know he's got a lot of detractors, but he's been very good this season as Grealish. And it's a shame for Tomiyasu because I don't think it's his fault in that deflection. But let's be honest,
it's just bad luck.
Yeah, Grealish's shot isn't actually that good, and Ramsdale's definitely saving it, and then Tomiyasu.
Yeah, if you watch the replay, he's saving that, and it's gone over his foot from the deflection.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, so Tomiyasu a bit unfortunate there after his early error, but yeah, that is all about Gabriel doing a horrible error for basically zero reason, trying to play out from the back when sometimes you got to learn to just hoof it. Honestly. Yeah. Maybe a bit of naivety for Arsenal potentially, and then the goal that killed the game. Again, it's a lovely move by City, but as good as Zinchenko's been this season, Gaskey, I've always maintained that this is always my issue with him at City. That whilst he's very good in possession, he's always capable of dropping a defensive clanger, and for me, I thought he allowed De Bruyne far too much space.
He played him outside in it as well. Mm-hmm. Believe as well. So yeah, he does. It happened in the game at Old Trafford as well. He was a bit, too much space and playing players on side. Yeah, off the ball, he's not the best, is he? You know, he's not bad on the ball. It's good to have that versatility, but again, another potential area that you could potentially say the goal could have been avoided. Probably out of all the 4 goals, that's probably the one where you probably maybe picking at straws if you're going to say a mistake. It's probably it's a great passing play. It's a great finish. But again, I think it sums up the game really. There's a lot of errors, and Arsenal should beat themselves up really for it because they've conceded 3 goals from just mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. But it was still lovely play by City. Fantastic ball into Haaland, and it's a great first touch on his weak foot. And so it's actually a really good finish. It's quite an underrated finish, I think. And there we go. City beat Arsenal 3-1. Just touching on Haaland. I thought maybe one of his best games for City. I know he only got the 1 goal, but his overall
he was more involved.
Yes,
it was a lot more involved, and it showed. I think one of the big arguments that a lot of people have is he's not a player that gets involved. You dump him up top, your other 10 players do all the work, and he'll put the ball in the net, which he can do. But for this game, especially against the team at the top of the league, he was involved. He was connecting the dots. Even for the second goal, usually with a striker, your first thought is I'm going to drive towards goal and shoot. But he was looking for the pass to find Grealish. So, he's still young. He's got plenty of years to get better at being more of a target man than a poacher. So, I mean, he's got what's that, 26 goals now
in the Premier League. Yeah.
So
insane.
Yeah. People need to shut up. They're asking for him to break records. Yeah. When you give him shit, so
yeah, definitely agree. He was, and we've seen this when City go more direct. He was involved in every single City goal. He was involved in the first goal because it's him putting Saliba under pressure. He ran Gabriel and Saliba ragged, I thought, throughout a lot of that game, always getting into physical duels with them. There's only going to be one winner there. He was like millimeters away from winning a penalty on Gabriel. Got the pre-assist for the second goal, and then obviously a really lovely finish for the third goal, which killed off the game.
I feel like the game that United won at Old Trafford in this game was similar in how they've won. They seem to play in the gap between defence and midfield. Like United have their, would play in that gap as well because it opens up as the Arsenal are attacking. There's a big gap behind them because Xhaka plays high up, Odegaard plays high up, and that's usually where Partey comes in and fits in that gap. And there's a big hole behind them, and I feel like that's how you beat them. You need to play in that gap. Mm-hmm. Like you said, long ball will work.
Yeah. Let's now just quickly touch it from the Arsenal perspective. A lot was made about there being no Partey. No Thomas Partey for today's game. I actually didn't think he was missed that much. I thought Jorginho played quite well, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the main story from an Arsenal perspective, I think, going forwards was even in the first half, they didn't really have that many chances. I think the best chance was probably that Nketiah header, which should have gone in. I think it came off his shoulder in the end. And then even in the second half, there was a moment where Nketiah again should have got that winning goal. Is this where are we beginning to see the lack of Jesus being an issue for Arsenal and Nketiah, whilst he's done well in Jesus' absence? And I know Jorginho played well today, but in general, Partey's been their main man.
Yeah.
Ben White today didn't even start. Tomiyasu did. Is this where we're starting to maybe see the lack of other options for Arsenal starting to bear fruit?
This game is a prime example of it, I think, because like you said, when Silva got moved, Ake went wide, Silva got put on right wing. You can make them major changes to your team, and it won the game. Whereas Arsenal, you're limited options. You're so limited. You got a bare thin squad. Like you said, they don't create a lot of chances, but they make them count 9 times out of 10. They'll win games 3-0, and I'm sure they'll have 6 shots on target. They won't be battering. It's no criticism to them. They don't batter teams like City normally just pass you to death. 70% possession, 4-0 win, game over. Whereas Arsenal seems to be a bit closer than that, and it'll be like a 3-0 win with 3 shots on target. Cool, you've won the game 3-0, brilliant. But when it doesn't go your way, 1 point in the last 3 games, so 1 in 9. Kind of not gone their way the last 2 weeks, and they've got 1 point out of it.
Yeah,
they've fallen off. Mm-hmm. So that's where you'd think, right, get Nketiah off and bring Jesus on, for example, or the other way around. Let's put some fresh legs on. They got Trossard to do that now, but it's still a lot of work. There's a lot of depth that they need, because what could easily happen now is they could continue to drop off. You never know. So the lack of depth is it could be the worrying sign for them.
Well, let's talk about that as well. So it's a loss again. We've talked on this podcast before. How would Arsenal react to a big blip? Because there was always going to be a blip. This is not the same.
Well, what was it? They had an 8-9 game winning run, got beat by United, and that's when we first said, how will they react? And they carried on going.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think, they drew against Newcastle, didn't affect them, they kept going. Now, in the last 2 weeks, loss against Everton, loss against City, draw against Brentford, they haven't won in 2 weeks. This is the blip, and it's in probably the worst time of the season as well.
Exactly.
So, okay, they're not in any cups anymore, other than the Europa League and then the Prem. So they're getting a lot of rest in as well. But can they? I'd say they're getting figured out now. Probably the worst time for them, where they could be a struggle for them.
Exactly, and it's not like a Centurion City or like Klopp's Liverpool in those high 90 seasons where you thought, this team can go on and win 15 games in a row. No disrespect to this Arsenal side, they're still a very good team. Obviously, they're still the best team in the league. Because they've got a game in hand which they'll probably win. They'll be top of the league, but there's not that sort of sense of inevitability about not from City this season either. Obviously, I'm not just having to go with Arsenal. It's everyone this season. But as I say, from past City teams, from past Liverpool teams, you always thought, there's no way they're going to drop points in this game. But this Arsenal side, they've lost against Everton, drawn against Brentford. They also lost to City in the FA Cup. They've lost. So that's 4 games without a win. And they've lost again today. And away to Villa is up next. Not necessarily the easiest game. It would just be interesting to see, will they bounce back and get 3 or 4 or 5 wins in a row and just get back to it, or Gaskey, are they at risk of capitulation? Which do you foresee being more likely?
I think the capitulation. Not because I want to be right. I'd love to be right, but it's just like you said, you can't. I just can't see it. Like when, for example, when Leicester won the league, I think around now is when on that period where they just win 1-0. It'd be a game, 50-50 possession, 1-0 win. 1-0 win. It'll be a simple Mahrez to Vardy goal that we see all the time. And that's when you felt like they're going to win the league now because they're just getting these wins out of nothing. Whereas I know it's only been 2 weeks of the season, but they haven't got the depth, and I just can't see them winning every game. Whereas I can see City I feel like they'll drop minimal points. They might lose one game or two, but they'll go and win them. Whereas I can see Arsenal struggle. Not to say that they'll lose loads, that they'll struggle to win. So they'll like the Brentford game. We got 1-0 up, and you said that's game, and then they'll go and talk about the controversy all you want, but that Brentford have then just won 5 headers in Arsenal's box and scored off of nothing. So how you've not seen the game off, and I think this could be, you'll see this happen now where they won't see games off, and then they'll just be held back, and then they'll get 1 point where City get 3. And then before you know it, I think United will be bringing down the next potentially. So,
wow.
Was
maybe Gary Neville was right all along?
But put it this way: if United finish second and Arsenal finish third, he's going to be very smug. So,
absolutely, yeah. We will talk when we get to NobGas. We'll have a chat about whether, because it's a question, whether City are the new favourites or whether Arsenal are still the favourites. But that is not until NobGas. But there we go, a huge win for City. I would have been more than happy with a point, and just drawing, keeping the gap at 6 points. Closing the gap to only 3 points is huge, especially when there is still a game at the Etihad where Arsenal have to come to the Etihad to come. And I think that in general, Arsenal have slightly trickier fixtures in terms of the big games. Might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure City have most of their trickier fixtures at home. Arsenal are away. So it's going to be really interesting to see. And then thankfully, we've got a title race, because I really thought the title race might be over. I thought Arsenal were going to...
If I look at it from a neutral perspective, I'm just glad that it's not just one team running away with it, because you get bored.
Yeah.
You do.
Definitely. Everton. We talked about how Arsenal actually lost to Everton, and they've got a new manager, obviously, Sean Dyche. We'll just be briefly touching on these few subjects here. For me, Gaskey, Everton were definitely going to get relegated with Lampard, and now in my head they're definitely safe because Sean Dyche is a very good manager. And in fact, I think this is a huge indictment on Lampard as a manager, based on that reaction against Arsenal, because it just showed how good that midfield especially can be, but Lampard was just not able to get a tune out of it.
Yeah.
Do you agree that Everton are basically that's as good as banking on survival in it, getting Sean Dyche as manager?
Yeah, exactly. Sean Dyche got a lot of stick for the way he got Burnley to play. That was a lot of the stick, but also that was obviously minimal funding and whatnot. But Everton have got a half decent squad. They still feel they're lacking a striker, but we said Onana's a fantastic player.
There's some talent there.
There's some talent in that midfield, and the grafters, and that's what Sean Dyche wants. He wants grafting, and he'll pull that team together and he'll sort them out. He's got experience in defence. He's got a grafting midfield, and he's just probably potentially the attack is a bit lacking potentially, but. It's a good time as well for him to come in, because it gives him that, you can have, win-loss for the next few weeks. But after that is when you need to grind out results. And I think they'll be able to. Looking at the state of some of the other teams as well. They've got a brilliant chance to stay up.
And speaking of those teams, Leeds and Southampton are... there was a point where Leeds' ex-manager Jesse Marsch may have been going to Southampton. Now that's all up in the air. We don't really know what's going on. Southampton sacked another manager, Nathan Jones, who was insane and came up with some mental quotes, saying stuff like, "I was the fittest human being in the world," and talking about how his Luton team were statistically some of the best in Europe or something. He's just a bit mad. Yeah. You're very confident that it's game over for Southampton, aren't you?
Yeah. Usually with the Premier League, there's always one that you're 20th done. That's it. And if it has to be Southampton, they're in a mess. Hasenhüttl brought in a lot of young, academy talent from teams. I think what did they take? Three players from City's academy.
Yeah.
reserves. They're not players that are gonna, the players that you got a potential future. Potentially in 4 or 5 years' time, you'll be fighting for a European spot. But if you're gonna be in the Championship, it hasn't worked, and you haven't got the right manager. You've sacked Hasenhüttl, who's been there for a few years, and then got Luton's manager because Luton are doing it half decent in the Championship. You don't have to be a genius to realise that's not going to work. It's not going to end well. Mm-hmm. So, you need to do. I think what you need is in the Premier League nowadays, you need to do what Wolves and Villa have done. Go and get a big name. And just give them some time just to figure it out what they want to do. Yeah. Which is what they've both done. They've brought in the Spanish managers. You forgot about Wolves. Wolves were down there as well, and then they're now sniffing about mid-table, and so are Villa. So
yeah, I mean, if it's a question of survival, I mean, Rafa Benitez, I'm pretty sure he's chilling, doing nothing, and he's obviously a decent manager. So,
but these are the names you have to think about, and then potentially see 6-month contracts if you can, or just sales type thing. There. So.
Definitely, so Southampton. I mean, I predicted them to get relegated before the season started, so now I definitely think so. Unless a massive turnaround happens there, Leeds. Do you think have a bit more quality maybe?
I think they have. I think Leeds have the squad. I think they have the squad potentially. And looking at the games against United, they shouldn't be getting relegated. But again, we can't say 19 teams will get relegated. 3 have to. So I just apart from Southampton, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. It's a tricky one, as I say, especially Everton for me were like they were on their way to being a dead cert, and now Sean Dyche comes in.
Even Forest and Bournemouth at the start of the season, and they've kind of wandered away a little bit. So it is a weird one.
Yeah, I think Forest will be fine now. To be honest, they seem to have clicked in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't click against City this coming up weekend. Speaking of clicking, Chelsea, they haven't really clicked yet. A lot of players to embed into the team, but so very weird game. We both watched the Chelsea West Ham game. For sort of like the first 30 minutes, I was looking at this Chelsea team, and they were sensational. I thought they were brilliant. That Mudryk especially was putting some lovely balls. João Felix looks amazing. Enzo Fernandez looked like an unbelievable world class player for the future. They got their goal through João Felix, and then what West Ham equalised because I think bad pressing by Mudryk and then Cucurella, and then they just sort of went to Pot and Potter. I don't really know what's happening with Chelsea, Gaskey, because 1 minute they look amazing, and then and as I say, I thought in my head I was thinking, right, Nkunku in this team, get rid of Havertz because I don't even know what he is. But 1 or 2 more players, and this team, could win the title next season. And then as I say, the goal went in. I was like, oh wait, actually, are they good? What are your thoughts on that?
It is a tough one because there's so much talent there, and like you said, they're still lacking a number 9. They really are. It's looking more likely that they're going to end up buying João Felix for over 100 million. So that's going to be another 100 million they're going to spend. Plus, you got Nkunku, and he's potentially going to play up front. You've got all the pieces, but it just sometimes it looks like that. You've got all the pieces, but they don't fit.
Yeah.
They're not connecting together because, like you said, you watch half an hour and you think these could get top 4 here. They could be scary, and then you watch another half an hour and you'll be like, what is this shite? This is like the 400 million you just spent. And it's. I was watching the Dortmund Chelsea game before as well, and they looked decent. And then somehow the goal just came from a guy. This what is it, Adeyemi running from his own half for going past £120 million midfielder.
Yeah, from their own corner as well.
From their own corner, and it's just right, okay, that kind of I can understand that happening. But then they just seemed a bit like they're attacking we're just going to keep whipping the ball in. Why? You've got, you got quite a small team apart from Havertz, really, and you're just going to keep trying to cross it in.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like the way you're going to play. It's again, it seems like they don't have an idea yet. You got all the talent there. You've got all the the clientele, but you haven't got how we're going to execute it. That seems to be what they need to get going now. Is how they want to play, because Reece James whipping the ball into the box to João Felix is not the answer. So
on Havertz, sell? Question mark.
I mean, you're going to have to, aren't you? Because he's going to want to play all the time, and you just can't. He's not it, is he?
I have a follow-up question. I think I asked you this about Anthony last podcast. Havertz, footballer, good? Yes, no? Question mark.
It's a tough one because
I don't think he's good at football. That's my conclusion.
He doesn't. I've not seen him do much to show he's good at something he does.
Yeah.
Because when he was at Leverkusen, I think he played it at like a 10.
Yeah.
And he was Mr. Connect the Dots. At Chelsea, he's playing a bit further forward, but he doesn't do either. He doesn't hold the ball up to play, left and right. Doesn't score. Doesn't, it's all right. You can go and stand, people say about Haaland, you go and stand out the way because you're going to go and score 20 a season. Doesn't do that either.
Yeah.
So, what does he do?
I don't know. Even when he's been used in his more preferred role, just doesn't really do anything. And you see João Felix excelling, and it's like, oh gosh, he's so much better than Havertz.
You realise, he just kind of gets in the way. It was like the same situation. I think it was the Chelsea-Liverpool game when Mason Mount was there. It's like you've got all this talent trying to score goals, and you've got Mason Mount who's just slowing it down, who's just killing it all because he's like, oh, play safe and play it back. Same with Cucurella. It seems like you've got a way to play, but you've got certain players that are not good enough to play that way.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It is a weird one for Chelsea. I think there's a lot of potential there for the future. That's why they're signing a lot of young players. But
definitely, yeah.
Can they make it work? I'm not sure. They're currently getting knocked out of the Champions League as things stand. VAR, we're not really. I don't really want to talk about VAR too much, just because we spent a long time on Arsenal versus City, which is fair enough. And lots of people have already talked about it. But very, very quick summation, Gaskey. It's a bit of a shambles. A lot of people have been talking about scrapping it entirely. I think that's a little bit silly. I think just get competent people in first.
It's people, not the execution.
Yes.
The execution of it's fine. It's the people that are using it. I think you need pure dedicated people to do VAR. Not this, you do VAR next week and you can ref the game after.
Yeah, that's odd, isn't it?
None of that.
Yeah.
VAR it should be a full-time job because it is. You're reffing the game still.
Yeah.
You can't have 1 week you're doing the VAR and then next week you're 1 week you're doing the Manchester Derby or VAR and the next week you're doing the Merseyside Derby on the pitch.
Yeah, I've always thought that was odd. I'm going to be on the pitch this week. Next week, I'm going to be fourth official. The week after, I'm going to be the VAR. Why? No.
Have a dedicated. There needs to be a dedicated job in the VAR room, and your job is to do that. Because was it the Arsenal goal where he forgot to draw the lines?
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
that was
like
terrible.
That?
Yeah, in the Brentford game. Yeah,
that's probably because you're not doing the job 24/7. You're doing the job once a fortnight or once every month. Yeah, exactly. Well, your second nature is going to be, it's offside, right? So these are my list of things I need to do. Where you're just going to, it's the first time I've done it in 2 months. You're gonna slip up.
Yeah,
anyone does any job.
Mm-hmm.
So
just very. Oh, do you? I quite like the idea of, look, the Premier League is the richest league in the world. It's the best league in the world, partly because of foreign players coming in. Why don't we just sign foreign referees? Do you agree with that?
Exactly. Like you watch the World, right? I know this has nothing to do with football, but you watch the World Cup, right? All these foreign refs. Look how physically fit they are. Right. Yeah. Some of the Premier League referees look like some bloke who'll be sat at the bar on a Sunday to watch the game, and he's there all lunchtime. No, I says, when John Moss was reffing, how's he going to keep up with all these? I'm sorry, but he's just going to I can guarantee in their heads they're making guesses because they cannot keep up with the game.
Yeah.
So sort it out.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I just don't understand that, and I don't even know what argument there would be. In the short, it sucks. Let's say we went to the Bundesliga and we poached all their best referees. It sucks for the Bundesliga, obviously, but hey, I'm not looking at it from their perspective. But also it would help improve, and then you might get some Brexit people going, oh, you're English refereeing jobs for the English or whatever. But I'll tell you right now, if let's say we bring in a load of Germans and they take all the English refs' jobs, then the English refs are going to have to get to a higher standard. So it's actually going to improve the standard of English refereeing as well, because they'll have to get to a higher standard.
Yeah, you have five German refs that are in the rotation for the refereeing games. and they're going, okay, these refs are good. The players come out and say there's less arguing, and the players are like, yeah, he's a good ref. He knows how to deal with the players, and he's making smart decisions. The other refs, the English refs, might be like, right, okay, let's learn from them, and then eventually you might get to a point when you've got more English refs again.
Exactly.
Look at English footballers. When the foreign players first started coming over, and there was so many of them, and there was barely any English players in teams. And look at them now. These
because they have to get to a higher standard.
Yeah. Some of the best players at the best teams in the Premier League are English now. So it just takes that time.
Exactly.
Do the same with refs.
Yeah, because they know it's like, right, well, Foden, for example, right, well, I've got De Bruyne in front of me, and Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. I've got to up my game.
Yeah,
clearly.
City is arguably one of the best, got the best squads in the world, and 3 of their starting line arguably are English.
Exactly.
So,
yes, indeed. There we go. That's our take on the VAR situation. Gask, I'm going to ask you about United next week, just because there's still a lot of... It's all up in the air, isn't it, really, in terms of club ownership?
From what I've read, Friday this week is like their deadline to the whole... Yeah. Potentially. So next week could potentially have interesting news.
Great, yeah. So I'll ask your thoughts on it there. Hopefully we'll have a bit more light on the matter. But yeah, guys, that is the roundup of this week's matches.
It's all here and it's all football, all the time.
Guess the footballer in 60 seconds.
My favourite game.
With the power of the countdown clock. Gaskey, shall I go first, or would you like to go first?
I'll guess first. Let's get out of the way.
You'll guess first. Okay, then. Let me bring up this person's Wikipedia page just so it's all correct. Okay. Right, Gaskey. Oh, I need to get my stopwatch. That would help, wouldn't it? Anyway. Right. Okay, Gaskey. Guess the footballer. 60 seconds. Go.
Are they still playing?
Yes.
Okay. Do they play in the Premier League?
Yes.
Okay. Were they best known for the Premier League?
Well, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are they at their peak of their career?
No.
No. Okay. Did they play for a top 6 team?
No.
Okay. Do they currently in the Premier League? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, are they in the bottom half currently?
I don't think so.
Question. Did they play in the north of England?
No.
No, did they play in London?
Yes.
Okay, did they play for Fulham?
No, they are in the bottom half, by the way.
They play for Crystal Palace?
Yes.
Okay, do they play in defence?
No.
Do they play in midfield?
Yes.
Okay, do they play Will Hughes?
No. Great guess.
Who else is Palace midfielder? Are they English?
No.
Okay, are they European?
Yes.
Okay, are they French?
No.
Who else plays in midfield for them? The attacking midfielder?
No. And a final... Yes, I'll give you one more question because I panicked on the Premier League one, so I'll give you one more question, then you can do a final guess.
They play for Palace, they're European.
Yeah, not French.
Are they... what else could I ask? Are they a holding midfielder? Like they play deep?
I would suggest they are more of a defensive midfielder, yes. And that is your... And now you're on a final guess.
European. Right. I can't remember who plays for the Palace.
Did United recently play them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, I weren't paying attention to who played for Palace. Who was in that massive brawl? Who was in that brawl? Who were pushing about? Think of it. Let's go with Milivojevic, whatever his name is.
No, good guess. So it's a bit of a tricky one. He's on loan, playing for Palace. It is Lokonga. He's
not just joined. He's not played yet.
He came on against United.
Yeah.
He came on as a substitute for Will Hughes.
I was too busy kicking off a Casemiro for getting sent off. Probably.
That was it. I'm sorry. That was a tricky one. I knew that.
Him a donkey.
Okay. Have you got one for me?
Yes, I have.
Okay, wonderful. Guess the footballer. 60 seconds. Go. Still playing?
No.
Dead?
No.
Okay. Most known for top 5 league?
Yes.
Most known for the Premier League?
No.
Most known for France?
No.
Germany?
No.
Italy?
Yes.
Okay. Most known for a Milan club?
No.
Most known for Juve?
No.
Most known for Napoli?
No.
Most known for... a team currently in the Champions League?
No.
Oh, God. Is it a really obvious Italian club?
Yes.
Right. Oh, my brain's gone blank. It's not Napoli. It's not Inter Milan. It's not AC Milan. It's not... Oh my god, what are the
What's the
other teams?
capital of Italy?
Oh, Roma.
Yeah.
But they're not... Oh, Totti.
No.
De Rossi.
Yeah. He's got it.
Oh.
I was gonna. When he said Totti, I was gonna go the other one.
I had a massive brain fart then. I was like, what? They're Italian clubs.
Okay, I'll give you a cheeky nudge.
Thank you very much for that, yeah. I was thinking Lazio. I was like, oh, but there we go. Wonderful stuff, right? I'm taking that. Thank you very much. Okay, Gaskey. Now.
Oh, is this a dodgy one now?
Right, okay. I'm thinking of a footballer. I'm thinking of a specific version of the footballer. Okay? This is going to be hard. This is something we've done on my streams.
Can I just ask before we start, right?
Yeah.
It's not some dodgy player, though. It's like someone quite...
No. This only works if you pick a very obvious player.
Right, okay. It's not you're not going for some random bloke who has broke both legs and still playing or something.
No.
Right.
You 100% know who this is.
Right. Cool.
Very famous footballer. Hence, because I need you to guess the footballer quite quickly so that we can then move on to the version of the footballer.
Oh, right. Okay.
But as I say, it's a very specific... So even if you get like the club, for example, that's not enough. I need a specific incident.
I can barely get these. So you're having to guess me two things now.
But I know for a fact you will know this exact version.
Right. Okay.
This might be a shit show, but it'd be
Sometimes
funny.
I hate you.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay. Guess the footballer. You've got to get the specific version of the footballer. Go.
Are they still playing?
No.
Yeah. Are they dead?
No.
Okay. Did they play in the Premier League?
Yes.
Did they play for a top 16?
Yes.
Okay. Did they play for a Manchester club?
No.
Did they play for a London club?
Yes.
Did they play for Chelsea?
Yes.
Okay. Did they play a striker?
Yes.
Did they play in the noughties?
Not for Chelsea.
No. The best known for Chelsea?
Arguably in the Premier League, yes.
Okay. Where the best known in the Italian league?
No.
What? Best known in the Spanish league?
Yes, probably.
Oh, and play for Chelsea?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You would
Torres?
know them for Chelsea.
Well, I know for Chelsea. Drogba.
No.
Who else played for Chelsea? Good Johnson.
No.
Don't know. Who else played for Chelsea up front? Oh my god, I'm actually useless. The European.
Yes.
Okay, are they Spanish?
Yes.
Spanish striker for Chelsea, and I'll know them for Chelsea, and they've retired. Played in the noughties.
No.
Retired playing the noughties.
Well, they didn't play for Chelsea in the noughties.
Right, no, yeah, so they played in the noughties, and they're a striker, and he played for Chelsea, and I'm best known for that, and he's Spanish.
Well, yes. Well, it's
it's someone really obvious.
It's either Morata or someone else.
I said Torres.
Did you?
Yeah.
When?
I said Torres.
Oh, sorry, it's Torres.
Was it Torres?
Right, so
okay.
It's Torres. Okay, so right. So that's so I didn't hear you say that. So I'm gonna give you another 60 seconds because I didn't hear that.
Right. Okay. Was he playing for Chelsea? Is this part of his career?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Was it open goal missing Torres?
Yes.
Is that actually that moment?
Yes. But and what was the match?
Oh, against United.
Yes. There we go. Well done.
I didn't think you were going to go that specific.
Well done. Yes, exactly. But you got it, and that was my fault because you said Torres ages ago and I didn't hear you. So you got that. So well done.
Yeah,
smashed it.
I probably didn't say Torres loud enough.
Right,
that's probably
my bad.
My illness coming back.
but so that's what I mean by specific version.
Right.
So it's not Chelsea Torres.
I didn't think it'd be that. I was thinking like, right, okay, so if it's Chelsea, he's going to be like, oh, when he scored, what was it, like 30 odd in the season for Liverpool? But no, okay. So actual moment.
A specific moment. Yeah, or it could have been like, Torres scoring the goal against Barca.
The orgasm Gary Neville goal.
Yeah, exactly. but everyone knows that moment. It's got to be a moment everyone knows, and that's a really infamous moment.
Oh, that's beautiful when he missed that goal.
When he rounded De Gea and just skied it.
De Gea and then put it wide.
It all went downhill. Okay, Gaskey, last one for me, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess the footballer, 60 seconds, go. Still playing?
No.
Dead.
No.
Top 5 league, most known for?
Yeah.
England?
Yeah.
Premier League?
Yeah.
Top 6 club?
Yeah.
London club.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
No.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Played for Arsenal in the 90s,
No.
80s, and before.
No.
Noughties.
No.
10s.
Yeah.
Okay. Goalkeeper.
No.
Defender.
Yeah.
Fullback.
No.
Centre half.
Yeah.
German.
No.
European.
Yes.
English.
No.
Western European.
Yes.
Koscielny.
How did you get that? You got that from Western European.
France, isn't it?
And not German. I'm there, like I'm doing. Do you know at that moment when you went, "Is he Western?" I was like, "Never eat shredded wheat."
Wow. I probably should have just said Koscielny because I was like, well, it's either I can't really think of that many from like that sort of 10s era. Who else would there have been? I don't even know. Koscielny, Mertesacker were the main ones of that sort of like late Wenger era, wasn't it?
I only came at this one because a fun fact: he was told he wasn't allowed to play for Bordeaux anymore because he was costing too much. So they put him on a non-playing role and then retired him.
Oh my god, that's harsh,
nope,
man.
We can't afford you.
But there we go. So we got all of them, did we?
Three out of four. I didn't get Lukonga.
Oh, Lukonga, yeah. That's a good ratio, though.
3 out of 4 is not bad.
That's very, and you got the really tricky version one. To be fair, that's very impressive. But there we go. That's Guess the Football in 60 seconds. Let us know if you like the version specific one. I do. I thought that was quite funny.
Mix it up a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Every football team will be playing football several times and in various combinations.
Nothing has ground Gaskey's gears this week because he's been too ill to have his gears ground.
Phlegm has ground my gears. Phlegm.
There we go.
What's the phlegm?
Exactly. So we do have some questions, though. This is NobGas. Got some lovely questions from my Noblets. I've got 2 coming in hot now, actually, in the Discord server, which I will add to the list. But we've got 2 football ones first, then we'll deal with the 2 non-football ones that have just come in. Starting with Will, who is a Borough fan, and this was asked before the City-Arsenal game. And Will asked, if City win this game, are City the new favourites for the title? If Arsenal win, is the title race over? I've touched on how I thought if Arsenal did win, the title race would have been over, but City did win. So Gaskey, if City win, and they did, are City now the new favourites for the title in your opinion?
I think so, yeah. I think this game, if it was a draw, it just kind of goes as you were. Whereas I think like if whoever would have won probably has that, the favourite. Like if Arsenal beat City, then you could be like, we beat everyone now. We're 11 points clear. How can we lose this? City have won now, level on points. Obviously, Arsenal got that game in hand, which could be, depends when they play it, could be really important. Mm-hmm. But I think City are favourites now because, like we were saying before, they could go on a mad run. I just don't see Arsenal doing that. So
fair enough. I will still say. So before I was like 70% sure Arsenal would win the league before this game. I'm gonna say I still think Arsenal win the league. I'm gonna go 60% though. Like I'm going backwards now on my percentages. So I'll say
I probably 55-45 City.
Yeah, no, it's still tight, but it's tight. But you still think City are favourites? Yeah,
55-45. Yeah,
excellent. Our latest Noblet, Pim. Shout out Pim. He's got a beautiful Scottish accent. He's a United fan. He's got a few questions here. We'll start with the Cancelo aspect of the question. He asks, "Will Cancelo be sold?" I think. I mean that's how long it's. I think that's how long it's been since we did this podcast. Did we even talk about? I don't think we talked about Cancelo yet, have we?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. We didn't do it since the design, did we?
Yeah. So just touching on the Cancelo situation, it's a shame he's gone because for me he's the best fullback in the world based on like the last 2 seasons. But if there's if you got a fruit bowl and one of your apples is rotting, and do you allow it to infect the other apples, or do you take it out of the fruit bowl? And sadly, Cancelo, as brilliant as he was, he didn't like the idea of not playing. And for me, I think the attitude should have been what Ake did, what Mahrez did, what Zinchenko did, etc. Of, okay, I'm not playing, I therefore need to earn my place. Cancelo instead went, no, actually, I should play. Play me or sell me.
It was Well, it's very similar, kind of similar to Sané, isn't it? Because Sané was like, "I'm not playing. I want to leave," and he was let go. So
yeah,
that's what you've got to do, haven't you? You've got to keep it fresh. Look what happened at United. He just got tainted and tainted and tainted, and it got to a point when you need someone to come in and just grab them and sort them out.
Yeah, so I didn't want it to happen, but it had to happen because Cancelo was negatively impacting the team, I think, and negatively impacting the dressing room.
Or is it that get him out before that happens, which
exactly
could have been what they've done. So
exactly, and so will he be sold? I think we've gone past the point of he's going to stay at the club. I think I don't think he'll go for like the quoted like 60 or 70 million euro fee. I'm sure Bayern will negotiate a much lesser fee, and he won't play for City again.
If it's that situation where it's like, I don't want to come back, I want to stay here, you kind of can't. You're not going to hold them to ransom, are you? I don't think anyone will do that. So yeah,
and especially because City have a policy of if a suitable offer comes in, we will sell you. So for me, Cancelo will be sold. Pim also asks, is there a player in Jadon Sancho? Gaskey, you are also a United fan. What are your thoughts on that? Because I personally think there is, but I'd like to hear what you think.
I think there is. I think this whole like rehabilitation situation, I think there's more to it. I think, people think, it's football related. He's been poor and he needs to sort it. I think it's the more psychological thing there that's going on.
Well, I thought I read that he had like depression or something, or like some sort of mental health issue.
Because he seemed to like delete everything off Instagram and put a black background picture, delete everything and kind of just like, so clearly he had serious issues. And you can just, when he scored, you could just see the reaction on Ten Hag's face. So clearly it's something he's really needed. But yeah, there's definitely a player there. I think he just needs that consistency. It could have been a huge psychological thing. No one knows. Mental health's a big conversation. So, I'm more than would love for him to, hit the ground running. There is a player there. It could be at number 10. Could be out wide. But it'll be interesting to see.
Definitely. Well, that's an interesting thing you raise. Could be at number 10. Now that Rashford is basically, it seems, let's assume he keeps his form going for the next few seasons. That left-hand side is Rashford's, honestly. So if you want to play Rashford and Sancho in the same team, Sancho's best games were on the left-hand side for Dortmund. He can play on the right. He can play as a number 10. Where do you personally see him long-term, assuming you can't play him on the left?
I do think 10 in certain scenarios, because a midfield of Casemiro, Sabitzer or Eriksen and Bruno is fine, But I feel like if you're in a situation where you need to be, you're being extra aggressive, you need a goal, and you're going to have like 4 up top, then Sancho playing in that 10 works. I think that is potentially where he's going to be his best point, because he's when it comes to close control and dribbling, he's brilliant at it. So and he's not as quick out wide to get past players like Anthony and Rashford can do. So I think behind the number 9 is probably his future position.
So with that in mind, does that mean Bruno Fernandes are his days numbered?
I don't think so. Like I said, it's all situations. Like I think with the way I can see with the way that Ten Hag wants to play is Bruno is just box to box. Really, it's like I don't really see him as like that. Standing number 10 guy who's up pitch. He's just that 4th player. Really, and I just because I've seen a situation. I think when I think it was the Leeds game, Sancho was on. He was number 10. Bruno was at right wing, and they were just playing together on that side. And that's you need a squad. You need them options to be able to mix and match. And I think with Sancho you could put him either place. I think, but I do think he's got a future. Definitely. Again, he's still young. Is he 20, 23? 24. So
he might not even be that old.
He might be younger than that. He might be 22.
Let's find out. I think he might be. 20. So he's 22. He'll be 23 next month. So yeah, he's young.
So exactly. I think you forget in football, 23 is still very young. Like 100%. So
100%. And Pim's final question is against United related. How far can Erik Ten Hag take United?
For me, this comes back to the ownership situation. How much are you going to back him?
Yes.
Because look what he's done up to now. It seems I've not seen a United team in a long time with this togetherness. It feels like a team rather than just a bunch of individuals. And he needs to be allowed more and more to do this. I think it was it. I think it was the second goal against City when you just saw them celebrating with the crowd. Like you can see, like even Casemiro and Varane, who was, people would say they're just going to retire at United. They're obviously not. They've come to play and they've come to win stuff. So there's no reason why United can't win everything under Ten Hag. But it needs to have that correct backing and being allowed to, for example, not give Phil Jones a 4-year contract, get rid of him.
Yeah.
Them type of things need to be allowed to be done.
Do you think it's fair to say that Ten Hag won't win? Let's say a Premier League title, for example, as like the sort of like the aim. Would you say it's fair to say Ten Hag probably won't win a Premier League title if the Glazers are still in power and they've got their little cronies doing their weird deals and whatnot?
I think if the Glazers stay in charge, I don't think United will ever win a title again with them as owners.
Yeah,
I've seen too many times where, or even under Van Gaal, as annoying as it was, they still, they won the FA Cup, and then they'll still bin him off, and then they'll bring your manager and just bin him off. Certain things are not good enough, but they're happy when, they'll spend money, and like Mourinho spent money, they won trophies, and then it was like, no, you've had your money, keep doing what you're doing now. Fergie never had to spend this much. That's as if they're living in the past, and it's like, no. It says you need to let a manager thin the squad out how he wants, bin him off, and rebuild. That's what Arteta did it in 3 years. Like if you look at his first lineup to now, is how many players are still playing in that squad? It says you just got to let them manage the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I did a YouTube video and TikTok video early, like right when he was appointed, saying I think Ten Hag will fail at Man United. But the whole point of the video was, it's nothing against Ten Hag. It doesn't matter who United brought in. They could have brought in Pep Guardiola. And by fail, I mean not win like a Premier League or Champions League. My point was, it's nothing to do with the manager. Ten Hag is a brilliant manager. It's all to do with the Glazers. It's all to do with the fact that it's a mess up top. And Ten Hag can succeed if given the right support. And it's not necessarily financial support. It's about people at the top making the right decisions, behind the scenes.
Yeah. It's like you look at Chelsea now, so they've got new owners in and they just throw money at players. This could be a situation where you've got all this talent and then you're just going to go, next manager, please. Come and win us everything. Oh, you can't do it. Right, next we'll get another manager then. And it could be this revolving door of managers because they can't get the best out of all the money they've spent. You need to let the manager be like, right, what is it you need? I need X and Y. Right, we'll get you that. It's not about going, oh, it's 500 million. Go and get whoever you want and win us everything. And then you don't win anything. And then it's like, right, you're the problem. Get out what you get. That isn't the solution.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So good questions from Pim. Thank you for that. A couple of non-football questions here. Liam asks, curry sauce or gravy?
Oh, gravy all day.
I don't like either of them, I don't think.
Not ask you a food question. God. Hell.
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think I've ever had curry sauce. I like curry.
See, I don't mind. It's all right, but
What's it taste like?
You can't be gravy.
Does it taste like curry sauce?
Yeah.
Well, I like curry, so there you go. Curry sauce. I don't like gravy.
I can't. I love gravy.
I hate it. I don't know why. Because I like meat. Because gravy's basically meat juice, isn't it? But I just don't like it.
It's like meat, like beef stock and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like people like roast dinners without gravy is so dry. You need to put gravy on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't know. But there you go. I'm a Philistine. And DR asks, what is the worst experience you've had at a restaurant or other food establishment?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
I think one scenario I can think of was, I think we were on holiday, like, big family holiday, and we went to this restaurant and it was just like, poor service, took forever for the food to show up and orders were wrong. And my cousin had got a meal and I might have made steak he ordered, and it was stone cold.
Ugh.
And my uncle got up with the plate, marched into the kitchen, and when I want to speak to the chef, I'm probably kicking over the chef in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that was probably the biggest.
How did that resolve?
But, we got like the whole meal for free, just to shut him up.
Yeah. I can't. By experience, I mean, there have been a couple of times when I was very young and I threw up. But that was But that was. There's one time we were at Pizza Hut, and I don't know if they still do it, but like the all-you-can-eat ice cream station.
Oh, the ice cream factory thing, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's still going. I haven't been to Pizza Hut in years, but I was like very young and I just ate so much ice cream and
It was such good value, though, wasn't it? You got your value for money.
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's come back. It's come back.
Yeah, especially if you're a child. But I vomited all over the table. It was so bad. Another one was the first time I ever went to Nando's. I must have been like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something. We did a long trip because we were visiting some relatives in London. Long trip down, so I was already tired. I had loads of Fanta and then spicy chicken. Again, threw up. But at that time, I got to the toilets, to be fair. But I'd say one of the worst ones, so that's not really related to the food. Like, I just ate too much or whatever. One of the worst, maybe not the worst, but the weirdest. With you and I were actually in this restaurant. We were on a date. And don't know if you remember, we're at some. It was like, I don't know if it was like a Pizza Express or something. But I ordered.
Wait, was this the one when they burnt the pasta?
Yeah. So
I do remember that.
It was like penny pasta or something, and it was like grilled.
It was what was it? It was pasta with garlic butter on, wasn't it?
Yeah, very plain.
And it came out in like what was it, like a lasagna tray? And I just remember it was burnt.
Yeah,
it's like they'd actually fried it.
Yeah, it was like, how do you mess pasta up? Like, cause that was when I was very young and very fussy.
I do remember that. Yeah,
that was that was so bizarre. It's so crunchy burnt pasta. How do you do that? But yeah, really weird.
Amazing.
But we had a good day though, didn't we? Because we went to go buy some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
It was when we went to that thing in Manchester, weren't we?
Yeah. Good times.
That was fun.
Good times. But yes, those were the NobGas questions. There were some brilliant questions. Thank you so much. Keep them coming, guys. And if you do want to submit questions for us to have a chat about, you need to sign up to the Patreon. The link is in the YouTube video description.
It is impossible to keep track of all the football, but your best chance is here.
Gaskey, it's time. It's BallBusters. Actually, I lied. It's not time. Very quickly, preview of next week's matches.
It will never be finally decided who has won the football.
No.
It's all go. Next week's matches. Let's just briefly touch on. It's United versus Barca tomorrow, Gaskey. Important match, big match you care about. How do you see it going, etc.?
It's a tough one because it's very similar to Liverpool's situation last season, where it's like you're in everything. You're in everything, and it's at what point does it all go wrong? Because they're not going to win. They're not going to win everything.
No.
But it's stuff like, I want them to compete. So as long as they don't get brushed aside by Barcelona, I'm not too... obviously, I'm bothered, but I'm not going to be like, oh, it's all gone tits up now. Get out of my club, all that shite that fans like to do. As long as they compete, like I think I said to you, only Dwight York and Andy Cole have ever scored at the Nou Camp. So I'm not really, tomorrow I'm not expecting much. But yeah, as long as they compete, as long as it, and they play well, then that'll be good.
Give us a prediction for the first leg.
I reckon 1-0. After all I've said that, I reckon Barca will win 1-0, and then second leg will be 2-0 United.
Oh, so you think you're going through?
Yeah, after all that I've just said, I still think they'll go through. Gotta be confident.
Confidence, obviously, and there's obviously lots of Champions League games, but I think we'll talk about the Champions League games more at length next podcast, I think.
Yeah.
And now... It's BallBusters. Okay, Gaskey. Whilst I'm reading out the answers, I've got a task for you. If you could please go to the last YouTube video and just pick us a winner. But I will be chatting whilst you're doing that. Thank you very much. BallBusters is a game. You know the game. I don't know what that was. Where I give you 3 cryptic clues of footballer, past or present. I give you the initials and the clue, and you've got to guess the footballer. You guess the footballer by submitting your answers as a YouTube comment. Although actually, what I think I might start doing, just because I know a lot of people are copying each other, what I think I will start doing is asking you to leave a comment saying I'm entering BallBusters or something, and then you DM me on Discord or Twitter or whatever, and just to make it secret. Let me know if you guys would prefer that format or if you don't really care. But yeah, so these were last week's clues. The first one was MH. My friend's big American SUV. Gaskey, what was that?
Matt's Hummels, I believe.
It was, because it's my mate's Hummer, Matt's Hummels. It works. The one after that was RG.
Yeah, you keep saying yourself that.
RG, the mutant turtle, and dead WWE star have had a baby. Gaskey, what was that one?
That is Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I think his name was Eddie Guerrero, wasn't it?
That's correct, yep. So that was Rafael Guerrero, who plays for Borussia Dortmund. And then the last one, it was a bit of a Bundesliga special. The last one was YS. In the hottest season, I grow vegetables that look like sweet potatoes. Gaskey, what was that?
That is summer, and you're growing yams.
Jan Sommer, the current Bayern Munich goalkeeper. So those were the clues. Gaskey, do we have any winners?
I think there's only one person.
Okay, no, that's good. Who's won?
It's Jack, I believe.
Wait, Jack won last week as well, so well done, Jack. You've won again. Excellent stuff. Tayab, if you're listening, please give Jack 1,000 knob coins, and Jack, you get to keep your role in the server of destiny. There we go. Thank you for that, Gaskey. These are the clues for this week. I'll read them out once, and then I will also leave them as a comment on YouTube. RJ. Basmati Entertainment. A. Everybody that you meet has an original point of view. HW. I think Houdini's trying to hit on me. Those are the BallBusters clues for this week. As I say, leave a comment with your answers. If you get all three correct, you can win the BallBusters roll and some lovely knob coins. Do give me feedback, as I say, on that suggestion where you DM me the answers, but you leave a comment to enter it, and I can entertain that. Gaskey, that is the podcast. We're back with a bang.
It is.
From your illness. Back stronger than ever, yeah?
Oh, definitely. We only come back stronger. What doesn't kill you make you stronger, they say.
And could it be City coming back stronger? An 8-point deficit has now been cut to, at most,
the
3
elephant
points.
is falling down the tree. The branch is snapping.
Big. Before we go, if Arsenal don't win the title this season, where does it rank? Because let's be honest, if you're 8 points clear over, around the 2021 games mark, you don't win. That's a bottle job. Let's be honest. Where does it rank in terms of Premier League bottles? Do you think? Because there was I think in Liverpool 18-19 they had like an 8-point lead with only like a bit. Was it 15
What was
United?
What was United's in 2012?
I think they had an 8-point lead with 6 games to go.
That was a big bottle job, really. It's hard to say. I think was it Tottenham? Was it Tottenham in the which season was that? Because they had an 8-point lead.
Did they?
I think they did at one point.
Can't remember.
I might be wrong. But yeah, it's probably Liverpool's 18-19.
Yeah.
Essentially. That's probably where we're at.
Yeah.
But then we'll see if City do their usual mental run now. And then Arsenal, and then if United finish second, then can we make it even worse for them?
Can you imagine? Gary Neville must be licking his lips at the prospect of that.
He will be. He will.
Really hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. It's been great being back. I've been Nobbins.
I've been Gaskey.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye, guys.